What's up, y'all? I just wanted to come through and give y'all a quick update on one of our members' case. He went to court this morning, or yesterday? This morning? I think it was this morning. Either way, he went this morning. That's why we're uploading this. It's February the 12th, 2025. And this is my boy in relation to his DUI, Hayden, down in Florida. How they did him dirty. This is the same situation where he said he asked the cops if they knew the definition of peer, and they didn't know. And this is his situation. And just quickly, he had an attorney. They paid $5,000. The attorney stated that they worked 56 hours and only filed one motion over to the DMV in relation to a hearing to contest the elimination of a driver's license or whatever the case may be, suspension. And he relinquished that attorney, and because he's been in the Operation Wise Dome, he's now defending himself, and this is him in the hearing. And when I say he's gone from not knowing much to now clearly defending and operating in his own capacity and knowing, this is what it is. This is what we do, and this is what makes me proud. And I just want everybody to know you have the eligibility to do the same thing, because you are a creation of the Creator, and nobody can tell you different. And if you haven't brought any harm to anybody, there can be no harm that's brought to you. And you just need to realize that. And hopefully this video shows how much you can empower yourself just by affiliating yourself with us and coming into Operation Wise Dome and learning and knowing. And it goes for life. It really takes off a lot of fear, intimidation, and things that are just so weighty. Anyways, I'll stop talking. Y'all enjoy.
Not according to anyone who represent you. Do you want to see if you qualify for a public defender? Or something else you wanted to discuss with me?
Perhaps only as assistance of counsel.
Well, that's what an attorney assistant of counsel.
I don't want anybody making decisions on my behalf.
Nobody can make decisions without your input.
Okay, they can be here.
What?
They can be present.
All right. So, are you saying you want to represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, all right, so if you want to do that, we can have a discussion about that. What were you wanting to do today with your case?
I was intending on filing a notice of discovery. I have been absent discovery for no less than 3 weeks. Mr. Camadeko had provided me a Dropbox link to that many months ago, which I have looked over, but did not have access to for, like I said, no less than 3 weeks. So I was going to submit a notice of discovery with the state attorney. I would like to argue for a continuance. He informed me that when he was here yesterday that was denied, but you may hear my argument.
Yeah, I wanted to hear from you. I just wanted to, I denied it yesterday, but I left open time to hear from you.
Okay.
So we can talk about that, but before we get too much further, I need to have a longer discussion. So if you want to waive counsel, you can. I'm going to ask you to fill out a form.
Okay.
And we're going to discuss it. Okay, so would you mind doing that first? And
Sure.
then once I make a decision about that, we can talk about the continuance.
Fair.
Okay, which I don't really anticipate being an issue, but I want to have more of a discussion, okay?
Thank you.
All right. And then,
I have a pen. Thank you.
so if you want to have a seat at the desk, I'll take you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now have your- All right. So I'm going to ask you to be sworn. If you raise your right hand, please, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can lower your hand. So, the charges are DUI and resisting. You've indicated that you wish to move forward and represent yourself. So I have to go over some things with you. The right to representation is constitutional, and I have to make sure that you are waiving it knowingly and voluntarily.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So, I see that you're 44 and you're self-employed in home services, and you've been to some college, so you can obviously read and write the English language, right? Okay, so I just need you to answer out loud because we're being
Yes, ma'am.
recorded. Okay.
I can read and write.
Other than this case, and I'm not, have you ever been in court before for anything?
Other than jury duty?
Oh, that would count.
Jury duty.
Okay, so Have you ever been represented by an attorney for anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I know you had Mr. Camadeco previously, but I want you to understand that having an attorney has its advantages. They can investigate the facts of the case, they can research the law, they're trained in the rules of evidence, they can represent you in a trial, they can communicate directly with the state attorney's office to negotiate a sentence, whereas you'll have to do all of that in court. They can file motions on your behalf and otherwise generally counsel you about the case. So knowing all of that, and it is almost always unadvisable to represent yourself, but it is your right to do so. Do you wish to waive your right to an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Do you feel coerced or pressured in any way to give up your right to an attorney?
Not at all.
And you feel clear-headed today, right? You feel clear-headed, you're not under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions at all about your right to an attorney?
No.
And you understand if you could not afford one, I would appoint one to represent you.
Okay.
So you wish to waive your right to counsel, correct?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to find the waiver as knowing and voluntary. So let's talk about okay, so we're going to have, I know you want to continue it. So what I thought I heard you say is I need to look at everything. So,
Further, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know at this point whether you are sure you want a trial or you're not sure you want a trial?
I figure it's going to trial.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you accept my motion, the state attorney accepts my motion to dismiss,
Okay.
which I have prepared.
So you have, okay, so I know you had a motion to continue. Is there any objection to that at this point? The motion to continue?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so I'll grant your motion to continue. I don't think you filed a motion to dismiss.
I didn't. I have it on
You
my
have it with
person.
you.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
we take a look at
Absolutely.
Okay, one for this. I get.
Oh, did I? Yes.
that? We have a little bit of time. So, okay. I'm just trying to see, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I think we can set this for a hearing, because there's a few things to discuss, and I'll give the state some time to look at it. So we could probably take about a half hour for that, and then why don't we just move the trial at this point? How much time do you need to prepare, you think?
Another month?
Okay. Okay, well, let me see when I can get this motion to dismiss in.
Would you be opposed to me conducting a deposition of the arresting officer?
Hi, can you give me a 30-minute criminal motion time to give you a couple different options in the next one? You can email me. Okay, thanks. All right, so she's going to give me those two things, those a couple options for that, and then I'll decide when to set it for trial.
I have a copy for the clerk too, if you want me to run that down there. I
The
can do
motion to
that.
dismiss?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm going to give her my copy. Then it's admitted, we can see it whenever we want. It's
Okay.
fine. Okay, so I'm just going to notify you guys today. So that just goes in the file. Okay. So then I'm going to notify you guys today about the upcoming hearing, which if you want, you can attend by Zoom. Do you want to, I can give you the Zoom instructions. But the motion to dismiss hearing, you can appear by Zoom.
Okay.
As can you, but they usually come to court because there's a number of cases they handle at any time. And you can notate may appear by Zoom at the motion to dismiss hearing. Okay.
Did you give a date for that, Your Honor?
What?
Did you give a date for the motion?
No, I'm waiting for our planner, my assistant, to look on the calendar and see what we've got. I thought I overheard you request a deposition.
Yes.
So the rule and misdemeanor is that, I'm supposed to take a few different things into consideration before the deposition is granted. What's the offer in this case?
The current offer is deter. I am looking at a wet reckless outside of deter, given that there was an additional resisting charge. I don't know that it will qualify for deter, so I'm seeing if I can make it qualify for a wet reckless outside of that.
Okay. Another thing is, what I'm hearing is that it's a fairly low offer, and another factor I would take into consideration is whether you've attempted to contact the officer yourself to talk to him, because it doesn't have to be in the form of a deposition. You're welcome. You know, people can just call and say, hey, what about this, this, or that? I'm trying to clarify this, I'm representing myself. So if you were to come back and say, he won't speak to me, then that's a different posture we would be in. But have you tried that yet?
No, I would prefer it to be under oath.
Well, I know that's what you would probably prefer, but the rule doesn't, require that because of a preference. So, you're welcome to reach out to him, and I'm not going to permit a deposition at this point. I mean, the arresting officer also wrote a report, right? So those are statements that could be used for impeachment too. And then you're welcome to clarify anything with him and talk to him. But if he won't talk to you, I will consider ordering a deposition.
So your recommendation is that I first try to speak to him man to man?
Yeah,
and if he denies,
you arrested me, I'm representing myself, I have a couple questions to ask you. I mean, that would be the first way to go about it, to get those questions answered, and then at our next hearing, you can let me know if that works, if he got back to you, and if not, I'll reconsider.
Okay.
Okay. But all right, so the options are March 28th at 11:30.
For the hearing?
Yeah, that's a Friday. And
that's
the
fine.
other one is April 10th at 2:30.
March 28th is fine.
Okay, is that all right with the state?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd prefer the March date.
Okay, so then if we're gonna do that, March 28th at 11:30. Then we would do the trial, let's do April 23rd, docket sounding at 9, May 5th trial. The other ones are right after it. So that won't work. So April 23rd, it would be the trial, docket sounding at 9, May 5th at 9. So I'm just going to do a notice of hearing really quick so you guys have it.
What was the trial date again? May 5th?
April 23rd is docket sounding, which is a hearing like this.
Right.
At 9, and then May 5th is the trial week. So it could be any day during that week, depending on the other cases that are set and witnesses' availability. I just set that for Friday or Thursday before. So we'll take it one step at a time at this point. So I'm going to do a quick notice of hearing for this March 28th motion to dismiss. And that's when we'll reconnect. And at that time, I can also consider, I'll reserve on the motion for depots right now, and I'll consider that at that time. Okay?
All right.
So let me get this together for you, and then before you go, make sure you've got everything. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me at this point?
No.
Okay. All right, give me just a minute. You can have a seat as well. There.
On this case?
Haven't looked at it. I took over the case from a different
Right, it was
prosecutor.
Jim Sarr initially. I found out today that it was not him because I was trying to locate him, and then you had a discussion before the
Yeah,
docket
I've
signing.
been included.
Right, I understand. I just figured. But, all right, thank
But I
you.
can,
Yeah, I mean, it's important, it's evidence, so, thank you. can have direct contact with you? Do you have a
No.
card? No? Okay.
But we can do it in court when we come.
Yeah, I'd like to be here in person. Thank you.